Ladies and gentlemen, see, the first thing you got to understand is this: people will treat you exactly how you teach them to treat you. If you walk into the world unsure of who you are, what you bring to the table, and what your standards are, then the world is going to offer you the bare minimum. It's not because you ain't got value, it's because you haven't stood in it yet. You got to know your worth so clearly that nobody else can bargain you down. Let me put it like this. If you walk into a Bentley dealership and ask for a discount, they're going to smile at you, maybe offer you a bottle of water. But they ain't lowering their price. Why? Because they know what that Bentley is. They know what it took to make it, how it's crafted, what it represents. That car don't need to beg to be bought. People save up, people dream about it, people work hard just to sit in it. That's what knowing your worth looks like. But too many of y'all are walking around like you're some used vehicle on the clearance lot. You've been through things, sure. You've got a few scratches, maybe some heartbreak dents here and there. But baby, you're still a masterpiece. You're still handcrafted by life, sculpted by experience and loaded with features no one else has, but if you don't know it, they sure won't. Life will underpay you, underlove you, and underestimate you if you don't start valuing yourself. Knowing your worth starts with accepting that your value does not come from people's approval. It doesn't come from how many followers you got, how many texts you get back, how many compliments come your way. All that's extra. Your worth is already set. It's already in you. You were born with greatness, purpose, and potential hardwired into your DNA. Ain't nobody else like you. And that right there makes you priceless. The problem is we've been taught to shrink. We've been told, don't be too much, don't be too confident, don't intimidate people. Well, let me tell you something. Being humble does not mean being invisible. Being kind does not mean being a doormat. And being strong does not mean carrying everyone else while neglecting yourself. Knowing your worth means having the courage to take up space in this world. Loudly, proudly, without apology. Let's talk relationships for a second. If someone can't see your value, it's not your job to convince them. If you keep lowering your standards just to keep someone around, you're not loving them. You're betraying yourself. And every time you do that, every time you settle, you're sending the message that you're okay being an option. You're okay being taken for granted. And I know you ain't okay with that, not really, because deep down you want something real. You want something that honors your soul. And you deserve that, but only if you believe you do. The same goes for your work, your dreams, your goals. Stop underpricing your gifts. You think your ideas don't matter? That talent of yours, writing, speaking, designing, leading, it ain't average. You keep saying, well, I'm not the best, or I'm still learning. Yeah, so what? Even diamonds start rough, but guess what? They're still diamonds, and they're still valuable while they're being refined. Don't wait until you're perfect to believe in your worth. Believe in it now, while you're still building, still healing, still growing. Now, let me tell you what happens when you do start knowing your worth. Things start to shift. People notice. Some will respect it, others will test it, and a few might walk away, but that's okay. Let them. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone can handle the shine that comes with knowing who you are. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to be real, to be whole, to be true to yourself. When you walk in a room and know your worth, your energy changes, your posture changes, your standards change. You no longer tolerate disrespect disguised as jokes. You no longer chase people who are running from themselves. You no longer accept less because you know what you bring, you know what you offer. And if someone can't match it, that's not rejection, that's protection. That's God's way of clearing space for what's truly meant for you. So no, knowing your worth doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you aware. It means you've looked at your past, seen all the times you were overlooked, underestimated, or mishandled, and decided that stops today. You've cried your tears, paid your dues, learned your lessons. Now it's time to walk in your power. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Because once you know your worth, everything changes. You don't beg. You don't chase. You don't convince. You attract. You inspire. You choose. And that, my friend, is how you become a luxury, not an option. One of the most powerful things you could ever learn in this life is how to be selective. I ain't talking about being arrogant or acting like you better than everybody else. No, I'm talking about having standards. I'm talking about knowing that not everybody deserves access to you. You see, when you know your value, the next step is protecting it. And you do that by being selective about your time, your energy, your environment, and especially your company. Everybody can't go where you're going. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Everybody can't go where you're going. Some folks were only meant to be in your life for a season, not a lifetime. But you're out here trying to turn seasonal people into permanent fixtures, and you wonder why you keep feeling stuck, drained, and disappointed. You've got to be bold enough to say, I love you, but I can't carry you, or you were part of my journey, but not my destination. That's not being rude. That's called wisdom. You don't see luxury brands trying to please everybody. They're not putting their names on every billboard, trying to be in every discount store. No, they're exclusive. You got to go out of your way to find them. They don't beg for attention. They command it. And that's what you need to be like. Stop putting yourself on every shelf just to feel seen. If people want access to you, they should have to earn it. Start by being selective with your time. Time is your most valuable currency. You can get money back, you can get opportunities back, but once you spend time, it's gone. So why are you giving your time to folks who don't appreciate it, situations that don't serve you, or conversations that lead nowhere? Every hour you waste on something meaningless is an hour you could have spent building your dream, resting your soul, or investing in something real. Be selective about where your minutes go because they add up to your life. Next, be selective with your energy. Energy is contagious. You ever been around somebody so negative, so draining, that you left the room more tired than when you walked in? That's not a coincidence. That's an energy leak. You're giving too much of your light to people who live in darkness and have no intention of changing. Now, I'm not saying abandon people when they're struggling, but there's a difference between helping someone rise and letting them pull you down. Protect your peace like it's your passport, because it is. It's your access to joy, clarity, and direction. Let's talk about your circle. If the people around you don't challenge you, support you, or grow with you, then what are they really doing? Are they feeding your spirit or feeding off it? You got to ask that. You can't be afraid to outgrow people who don't grow. Just because you've known someone for years doesn't mean they're meant to stay. Loyalty to your future must be stronger than loyalty to your past. And here's the thing. When you start elevating, some people will call you fake or say you've changed. That's fine. Let them talk. Elevation requires separation. That's not being selective to be petty. That's being selective to protect your purpose. Don't forget to be selective with your thoughts too. What you allow in your mind creates your reality. You can't afford to let doubt, fear, and comparison set up shop in your head. You need to curate your thoughts the way a luxury designer curates a collection. Carefully, intentionally, with purpose. Stop rehearsing past failures. Stop playing small in your own imagination. Start speaking to yourself with the same power you give everyone else. Be your biggest encourager, your loudest cheerleader, your most loyal advocate. Because if you don't believe in you, who will? Now, hear me when I say this. Being selective is not about thinking you're better than others. It's about knowing what's better for you. You've spent too much of your life being everything to everybody, stretching yourself thin, giving out pieces of yourself just to keep people comfortable. But the truth is, you're not for everybody, and that's okay. You weren't made to fit into every mold. You are made to stand out, to shine, to be a force. And that kind of power, it needs boundaries. You've got dreams that require focus. You've got a future that needs protecting. You've got a calling that can't be delayed any longer. So yes, be kind, be compassionate, but also be selective. Say no without guilt. Walk away without apology. Decline invitations that don't align with your purpose. Not every party needs your presence. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Not every opportunity is meant for you. When you start honoring your worth, you'll realize that saying no to the wrong thing is saying yes to the right one. And here's what's going to happen when you start being selective. Your life will begin to elevate. The quality of your relationships will improve. Your peace will increase. Your vision will sharpen. And people will either rise to meet you or they'll fall away. Either way, you win. Because you're no longer chasing validation. You're walking in alignment. That's what it means to be a legend. You're not just available, you're intentional. You're rare, you're valuable, and you choose who and what gets to share in that. Let me tell you something that might just change your life. The way you carry yourself tells the world how to treat you. I'm not talking about the clothes you wear, the car you drive. I'm talking about your energy, your presence, your posture, your mindset, the way you walk into a room, the way you speak your name, the way you look somebody in the eye, that's your confidence. And if you don't carry yourself with it, you'll always be seen as less than what you really are. You see, confidence ain't about being loud or arrogant. It's not about puffing your chest out or trying to show off. True confidence is quiet power. It's the calm in your voice when everyone else is panicking. It's the stillness in your spirit when chaos surrounds you. It's knowing who you are knowing what you bring to the table and not being afraid to take a seat or walk away from the table altogether if it doesn't honor your word. People can feel confidence. It's not always something you say. Sometimes it's just something you are. You ever notice how some people just light up a room without even saying a word? That's not luck. That's presence. That's self-respect, radiating from the inside out. You've got to start seeing yourself that way. Not as a second choice, not as a backup plan, but as the plan, the main event, the one who belongs. Because you do. But here's where a lot of folks get it twisted. They wait for success to feel confident. They think, once I get the job, once I lose the weight, once I hit this goal, then I'll believe in myself. No. You don't wait for the result to show up before you believe. You believe first. You got to step into the version of you that already knows you're worthy, already knows you're powerful, already knows you. That's the kind of mindset that creates real change. And confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being real. You think people respect perfection? No, they respect authenticity. They respect someone who owns their flaws, who says, yeah, I've made mistakes, I've fallen, I've been through it, but I got back up, and I'm still here. That's confidence. It's not saying I've never failed, it's saying I've never stayed down. That kind of strength, that kind of resilience, that's what makes you unstoppable. Let me ask you something. How are you showing up? Are you shrinking yourself to make others comfortable? Are you hiding your ideas because you're scared of being judged? Are you downplaying your achievements because you don't want to seem too much? Stop that. Stop dimming your light. Because let me tell you something. Your light doesn't threaten the right people. It inspires them. The ones who get uncomfortable, they were never for you in the first place. Don't shrink, shine. You've got to walk into every room like God sent you there. Because guess what? He did. There's something inside you that the world needs, but you'll never deliver it if you keep questioning your value. Speak up in the meeting. Apply for the opportunity. Introduce yourself with pride. Carry yourself like you belong in the space, because when you do that, other people start to believe it too. You're setting the tone. You're setting the standard. Confidence is the signal that says, I'm ready. And look, confidence is a choice. You may not feel it every day. That's normal. Some days you wake up tired, discouraged, unsure. But even on those days, you decide. You decide to hold your head high. You decide to speak life into yourself. You decide to show up anyway. That's where real power is, not in pretending to have it all together, but in choosing to rise even when you don't. And confidence doesn't just change how others see you. It changes how you see you. When you start showing up with boldness, you start dreaming bigger. You stop settling. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop chasing things that don't align with your vision. You start moving like someone who's not afraid to lose anything because you know the right things will stay and the wrong things will fall away. You ever see somebody who knows what they want, knows where they're going, and ain't afraid to say no? That's attractive. That's magnetic. That's powerful. And that power, it lives in you. but you've got to unlock it. Stop waiting for someone to approve of you. Stop waiting for someone to choose you. Stop waiting for someone to validate what God already put in you. Validate yourself. Approve yourself. Choose yourself. Now, I ain't saying it's going to be easy. Confidence takes practice. It takes patience. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have days where fear whispers in your ear. But keep showing up. Keep walking tall. Keep speaking truth. Because the more you do it, the more it becomes who you are. So let the world see you, not the watered down version, not the version trying to fit in, the real you, the one that's been through the fire and came out refined, the one that knows their value and doesn't apologize for it. Because once you carry yourself with confidence, you stop being an option and start becoming the standard. One of the hardest lessons to learn, but one of the most powerful, is learning when to walk away. A lot of folks stay stuck, miserable, overlooked, and underappreciated simply because they're scared to leave. Scared to leave the job that doesn't value them, scared to leave the relationship that's draining them, scared to walk away from the comfort zone that's slowly killing their spirit. But let me tell you something. Sometimes your breakthrough is waiting on the other side of goodbye. Walking away doesn't make you weak, it makes you strong. It means you finally realize that staying in a situation that doesn't respect your value is no longer an option. You're not being petty, you're not being dramatic, you're choosing you. And that's one of the most powerful decisions you'll ever make. See, people treat you the way you allow them to. If you tolerate disrespect, it'll continue. If you settle for crumbs, they'll never bring you the whole meal. If you make yourself too available to people who don't appreciate your presence, they'll treat you like you're replaceable. You teach people how to treat you by what you walk away from. And when you have the strength to say, I deserve better, you start to receive better. Well, let's be real. Walking away isn't easy. It takes courage. It takes self-respect. And it takes a whole lot of faith. Because when you walk away, you're not just leaving something behind. You're stepping into the unknown. And that's scary. But let me ask you this. What's scarier? Being alone for a season or being miserable for a lifetime? Staying somewhere that stunts your growth or stepping into a future filled with potential? Some of you are holding on to people who've already let go of you emotionally. You're holding on to jobs that are sucking the life out of you. You're holding on to places that no longer serve your purpose. And deep down you know it. You feel it every day in your gut, in your spirit. But fear keeps whispering, what if nothing better comes? Let me tell you something. Better can't come if you're still clinging to what's broken. God can't bless who you're pretending to be or where you refuse to lead. Sometimes your next level is locked behind a door you're scared to close. But until you close that door, the next one won't open. It's not punishment, it's alignment. Walking away isn't rejection, it's redirection. It's you stepping out of what was and into what's meant to be. Let me break it down this way. You ever try to carry too many bags at once? Grocery bags, gym bags, purses. You got so much in your hands you can't open the car door. That's what life looks like when you're holding on to everything. Some stuff has to be put down so you can move forward. You can't walk into your destiny carrying dead weight. You've got to release it, let it go, set it down. Free your hands so you can receive what's next. And don't let guilt keep you stuck. Just because someone has a good heart doesn't mean they're good for you. Just because a job pays well doesn't mean it fulfills you. Just because you've invested time doesn't mean you owe your future to it. Time spent is a lesson, not a life sentence. If you've outgrown it, it's okay to outgrow it. That's not failure, that's growth. And don't wait for closure. Some people won't apologize. Some situations won't make sense. You may never get the explanation you think you need, but that's okay. Closure isn't something they give you, it's something you give yourself. You decide when enough is enough. You decide when the cycle ends. You decide that your peace is more important than their approval. That's when you take your power back. Let me tell you something else. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace, joy, or growth. You don't have to defend your boundaries. You don't have to justify your standards. If they don't respect your decision to walk away, that just proves why it was the right choice. People who truly love you won't guilt you for growing. They'll cheer you on, even if it hurts. When you walk away from the wrong thing, you make room for the right thing. You align yourself with opportunity, with peace, with purpose. And here's the beautiful part. Once you've walked away from what no longer serves you, you'll develop the strength to never go back. You'll see it with new eyes. You'll realize, I was settling, I was shrinking, I was playing small. And you'll thank yourself for having the courage to leave. You don't have to make a big announcement. You don't have to burn bridges. You just walk different, talk different, think different, move different. That's what real growth looks like. Quiet, confident, focused, and full of faith that what's ahead is greater than what's behind. Because once you know your worth, and you do, you'll stop begging to be chosen. You'll stop forcing things to work. You'll stop trying to convince anyone to see your value. You'll stand in it. You'll walk in it. And if they can't handle that, you'll walk away with your head high and your spirit whole.